what's up? This is Ray with Gabriel Ray, a place for life and business tips from this creative soul to hopefully inspire you on your journey, or at the very least, provide you with some laughs. And now, let's get real. I am delivering another road ramble today. So it's been another weekend adventure. Some 10, 12 hours to go and work with some awesome clients. The seat cushion really does help you drive, y'all. If you want more tips on long drives, there is definitely a road ramble on that. So here I am on this drive. You are helping me stay a safe driver because the talking helps me not get tired. And I get to just look at the road, so not looking at the camera. You don't want me staring at you anyway. Like, oh, let me stare at you. I'm look deep into your eyes, the camera lens. No, you don't need that. So, my friend, it's as if you're sitting right next to me in this lovely seat, and we're talking. We're hanging out. We're traveling together. Cool. Don't sit in the back seat, because then I feel like a taxi driver. So just hang out next to me in this empty seat. And we have our conversation going. All right, so what am I going to ramble about today? Well, actually, as I mentioned, just finished a work trip, and I don't know if you know the saying, when it rains it pours, but that's what I feel like is happening right now. So I definitely went through a period of just tons of crappy things happening, tons of just not fun, stressful things. And why did I say when it rains it pours? Because, oh my goodness, I must have jinxed myself. It is now starting to rain on this road. So let's slow down and make sure. Make sure my wheels are. Yes, let's have visibility. Awesome. I'm driving through the mountains right now, so the weather does kind of change. Going up the mountain, it's totally sunny, and then once you're at the top of the mountain, it's like, oh yes, hail, snow, rain, all the things. Just full on 4 seasons within like 2 hours or something. It's crazy. But anyway, you might be able to hear the roar of the car and the patter of the rain. Whoa. Visibility is not great. It's not raining super hard. It's just, there we go. Anyway, okay. So, yes, there was a period of just tons of really frustrating things, complaining clients and technology failure, tons of bills piling up, medical issues with a family member, just all the things that life likes to throw at you. You least expect it all at once. Yeah, that was definitely like, I want to say almost a month of just, I give up. I want to curl up into a ball and like just cry in a corner or eat a pot of ice cream and all that stuff. But anyway, things are turning around, and this rainstorm that is starting to happen right now, not the actual like physical rain that I'm driving through. It's not really a storm, it's just sprinkles. But the life rainstorm that I'm going through right now is work. I've been fortunate enough to have people know me for certain skills and want to reach out for my services. Now, I am going to be fully transparent. My online kids program is in a growth phase, and it is struggle bus right now getting the word out about that in terms of getting the right kind of clients. And the marketing that I'm doing for that is just a whole separate video. That's not the point. But I do feel the need to kind of mention that, just because, some people watch this video and be like, oh, well, my kid was in her classes and they said there was only like 3 other kids. Yeah, some classes, my or whatever. Good or bad, right? However, other aspects, if you're not new here, then you may remember that I do have more than one business. And other aspects of my entrepreneurship, those businesses are picking up some traction and drawing attention again. Some of those businesses are definitely seasonal. Some of it is related to the demand for increased content or entertainment in relation to businesses, people looking to be entertained again outside of their homes. And some is really to be entertainment in their homes. Okay, there's a lot of things, lots and lots of things. See, it's a variable. Okay, so fortunate that there is attention, and yet it brings up the question of dun, 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 what is my value, right? So whether you're trading time for money or whether you have established passive income, there's always this concept of value, and I know what I want to be paid in terms of time for money. I have that down pat. But one thing that I'm questioning right now is, okay, during that kind of initial investment phase, right? So when you are transitioning from one stage to the next, there's usually, whether it's from like having zero clients to getting your first client or a couple of clients, or whether it's going from one price tier to the next price tier, being known for one line of work to being known for another line of work. So many different transitional types, right? And keep in mind, business is like a human. Humans go through growth phases, developmental phases, and that's what your business does too. So I was really excited by a project, and I knew the price actually for I feel like the price was mentioned to a certain extent. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually it wasn't. Now that I think about it, like, no, the price wasn't mentioned. Then that's probably why I'm feeling funny. So usually I don't bother with work that I know is not the price that I want. It's not what I feel is the values my contribution. Now keep in mind, I understand that various businesses have their budgets, right? When I'm looking for new teachers, I go over my budget before I bring on a new teacher. And I take a look at my budget to see, well, what can we reasonably afford? And on this price, what kind of talent might actually apply? So that means I'm looking at other companies that offer that, or businesses similar to mine that are offering that same kind of job. What are they paying? Where are those businesses located? Is my pricing even competitive? And if my pricing is not competitive, I need to raise the rate, then how can I make sure that I have the revenue to pay more? Like, where else do I need to trim money, or trim money, that's all right, cut back on expenses, or where else can I boost revenue? So with all that being said, I get it. company went ahead and looked at their budget, looked at what they could afford to pay talent, reached out and said, hey, would you like this work? But here's the problem. Two problems. Problem one is that I'm not brand new anymore, so I feel like the rate they're offering is for an inexperienced rate, and I kind of don't care how much you love me in my work. You should know that rate is very low. Very low. Problem two is that I still have other work offers that are offering to pay me 3 times that. Now, slightly different type of work, but still, if we're just looking at the base of time, hour, and money, amount of money I would pay for that hour, on the very base level, for me to say yes to this offer would be a huge mistake. Huge mistake. This is a very base level. The money's better elsewhere. Now, can't just look at the base level though, unfortunately. That is something important to look at. But now I want to go ahead and look at if I'm not getting financial compensation that makes it worthwhile, then what am I getting? Which would be the only reason why I would consider the work, right? What am I getting other than money? And this kind of goes to when you're looking for a job and a corporation isn't able to offer all the bells and whistles that another corporation can. So like, say you have a job offer and one company says, well, we can give you stock options, health insurance, and a handsome salary. And the other company says, well, we can't give you health insurance. And in terms of stock options, you know, we're a startup, so when we do, file for IPO, you will get some stocks then. But until then, there are no stock shoppers. But we have a foosball table, we have free lunch Fridays, and you can bring your dog to work day. And my grandmother will watch your kid. Or child care. Like, whatever, right? Okay, maybe not grandma will watch your kid, but we are doing work to help save the planet. And that is our mission. So every pair of shoes we sell will donate $5 to the local charity. Now, if you are someone who is looking for a company that aligns with your core values, and your core values is, if I don't have the time to invest in helping out my community, but I still want to help out, then company two is a really good option for you, because while you're working, and the time you put in at work ultimately goes into helping other communities. You're helping the business succeed, and that business is able to donate more money to local charities, right? Maybe you have a partner who has health insurance, so you don't need the health insurance, and you really love the idea of free lunch Fridays because you know that you would spend way too much money ordering, lunch at work or what have you, right? So you pick and choose your perks. And this is really no different when it comes to being a contractor or being an artist, however you want to put it. Really, it's just no different in any line of business. So what I'm looking at is, what else do I get? Oh, I should get some video footage of my work. I should have a reputable business name on my resume, so it looks, it's evidence of quality work. And I came up with two things. Oh snap! That's only two things. That's two things I came up with. Oh, and they're nice people, and it's not a huge time commitment. Okay, so there we go. So those are those things. So that is why I'm looking to see, can I say yes? Now, once you determine that whatever it is that you're considering is not completely off the table, so it didn't meet the requirements of the base level, but it is in alignment with my core values. Now I need to look at, so how can I make it work where I am able to cover all costs, come out a little ahead, hopefully, and not put myself in a situation where I'm stressed or regretting the decision to take on that project, right? Because when you're not being paid when you think you should be paid, there's that room for becoming regretful once you're stressed out. Okay. So one thing I put in place for myself when it comes to whether or not to let me back up for a second. So personally, I'm a very giving person, and I have found it difficult in the past to say no when I am looking at things from the lens of myself as a consumer. I am not my ideal customer in a lot of the things that I do, by the way. So, one of the things I do is I sell children's programming. I don't have children. I'm not my ideal customer, right? That makes sense. I do not have children, therefore, I don't want to create a business structured around selling to me and what I like, because I don't have children. So I would never buy from me. I don't want to target me. Okay, just to clarify that. Now, for one of my businesses, there's a no refund policy. And actually, for two of my businesses, there's a no refund policy, right? So I'm gonna not talk about the kids programming. I'm gonna talk about a different business, adult dance services. So for that business, no refund. And it says on the website, it says in the confirmation email, it says all over the place. The no refund policy is built off the concept that you are getting services at a rate that is very reasonable. And I provide a lot of material in a very short period of time. So you're getting more than your money's worth, because if you go to a competitor where they charge less, you're probably going to be there longer, or you will probably get less material. If you go to the competitor where they charge more, you're still probably going to be there longer. You may get as much content, but you're going to be there longer. So if you are someone who is conscious of the amount of time you're investing in creating this dance, then you're not going to go to the competitor, because you just want to get maximum results in the shortest amount of time possible. That's what my business offers. So therefore, I don't do refunds. It's not a huge business, corporation, right? And you're getting me. You're not getting someone that has studied under me. Therefore, I don't do refunds. And I always say there's only two exceptions. The exceptions are, death, basically. And termination of the relationship. Because if we come into a couple's lesson, and then all of a sudden, y'all not a couple anymore, well, I may not give a refund, but I will. Let's talk it out. Let's see, right? Chances are I'm probably going to get a refund if, we're like, we're not together anymore. I'm not going to be a jerk and be like, well, you keep your money. I will ask you if you want to come in for private lessons on your own, with a friend. But otherwise, if it's going to be too painful for you, it's okay. Have the money back, right? I have a heart. And I'm not here to cause you drama and trauma. Okay. So, I put a policy in place so that when people say, oh, I had this emergency come up and I have to leave town, or oh, my work schedule is crazy and I'm not going to make the appointments. Oh, I have a migraine and I have to miss my lesson. Can I get money back? I can point to my policy and say, to sum it up, no. Now, I do respond to my clients in a much more polite manner than just no. However, it's very helpful to have a policy set in place, to know that that policy has been conveyed to potential clients in multiple ways, so that I don't have to tap into that part of myself that looks at things for myself as a consumer. Because I know what it's like when I order something from Amazon and I'm like, oh man, actually, I don't need this. Or just do what I thought I was going to do. Let me return this, right? Amazon will take it back. They try to resell it, all that stuff. So I'm not Amazon. I am not my target market. So I don't want to allow my personal perspective, my personal feelings to get involved in that decision-making process for the business. So I don't have to think about it. I can just look at my policy and say no, and this is why policy says it. No, I didn't say it. Policy says it, right? Policy says it. You can't argue policy. I mean, if we start arguing policy, then I might as well not even have a business or rates, and I might as well not even try to give you quality service, because my policy is to give quality service. But if I want to argue policy, then there's no need for me to try to adhere to giving you quality service. And so, my friend, today's ramble, put policies in place for yourself and for your business. Now, for the project that is at a base level not financially worth it to me, I put into place one step in terms of ensuring that I never work makes me feel devalued. And as glad as I am that I put that in place, someone called me and said, hey, Ray, can you do this? So I said, oh, I cannot because of this new policy here. As you can see, I'm only allowed to accept work that pays more than X amount. That's what the rules are for that kind of work. Policy says. Policy says. I'm being a little vague right now because I don't really want to go into exactly how that was set up, but I can basically, in short, say policy says. So They understood. They're like, okay, I understand that policy, and no problem. But now there's this other work offer, and I'm kicking myself a little bit because I'm like, oh, I have a policy for this. I need to make a new policy. And once I figure out whether or not I can afford to participate in this project, like, how else am I going to cover my expenses? How will I reduce expenses in various avenues to make sure that I don't regret the decision? After all that's done, I'm going to have to sit down and look at, okay, so how can I ensure that once this project is done, for any future projects, it is clear that my policy is I will not participate for less than XYZ or unless ABC items are covered. And one thing I was working on recently for another project, I told y'all, when it rains it pours, for another project was my writer. So if you are someone who is a musician, a singer, in a band, dancer, then you may be familiar with what a writer is. So as I was putting together my writer, which my writer used to just be like, make sure there's a bottle of water, like unopened bottle of water, and a secure place to store my bags, right? That's like the bare minimum that I need. And now for bigger projects, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna need more than a secure space to store my bag. Like, I'm gonna need a dressing room. I'm gonna need stuff. Need to make sure that I have access to food, or that some kind of food is made available, like something. So writers are another way of an artist as a business putting policies into place, right? Your writer is your policy, and ensuring that they are creating a space where they are not going to have negative feelings about participating in that work because their needs were met. So look at your life. Look at areas of your life where you can put policies into place so that you do not have negative feelings about doing something, and ensure that your needs are met. So my advice to your friends, have a writer. Have a writer for everything in your life. There's a little like twisty thing. You can see behind it. You can see it. Well, no, you can't see behind it. Well, anyway, there's a little road construction, so you have to drive over the bumpity bumps, hence the noise. Yes, put writers into place for your life. Put policies into place for your life. Ensure that you are participating in life in a manner that supports what you want to do, supports what you believe in, and will help you have more positive feelings about your engagements with other people, about the work you do, as opposed to putting yourself in situations where you're saying yes to things because you feel that you have to. All right? With that being said, don't equate having to say yes to having the money to be able to say no, because those are two very different things. You can certainly set yourself up where you're saying yes to things that may not be the most ideal, but you are able to say yes not just because you need the money, but because of a few other reasons, right? I mean, and if you were only saying yes to doing something for money, then in that case, probably already be in jail by now. You might be committing some like crazy crimes. Like, hello, would you like to go ahead and store these cocaine pills inside your body, and we'll just extract them once you deboard that plane? Yes. People do that, absolutely. But chances are, if you're working at a cashier job at a drugstore or something, and you might feel like, oh, I don't want to do this job, I just said yes because I need the money. Well, you could have also been smuggling drugs and risking your physical safety, risking the safety of your friends and family, risking your life basically because you need the money. So just careful of that excuse of, oh, well, I need the money, so I gotta do this. Because you put a policy in place for yourself that said, I will not smuggle drugs for a major cartel. Just remember. I hope you have that policy in place for yourself, because if you don't, you need to adopt that like yesterday. That's how soon you need that policy. And if you do smuggle drugs for a cartel, then I hope you find the strength to get out of that line of work. Maybe you feel like, you didn't have a choice, and that could very well be if the options, because we always have a choice, right? But your other options may have been worse than smuggling drugs. But I do hope you find a way to get out of that, and you can message in the chat, and we as a YouTube community can try to hook you up with resources to get you out of the dangers you're in. But yeah, and if you're watching this and you're thinking about smuggling drugs for a major cartel, don't do it. Just don't. Because it's not good. Plenty of movies you can watch about why it's not good, but you can probably also just ask around and find out that's not good. Alright, my friends, ramble. It has been another road ramble from Ray. Thank you so much for checking in. Please take care of yourselves, live the life you want, as long as it does not negatively impact others. Then follow your dreams. And with that being said, thanks for rambling with me. Keep it real. Peace.